Continuing with section 3.2, let's find the slope of the line y equals 2. As you can see, the line is already graphed for us. It's one of those special lines. It only has a y in it, so the line only crosses through the y-axis at y equals 2. And you see it's a horizontal line. Now you can use the slope formula to find the slope, and in order to do that, you would find 2 points that are on the line. Well, one of those points is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is at 0, 2. And then you can pick any other point. Let's pick this point right here, which is 3, 2. To use the formula, we're going to take the y's values, subtract them in the numerator, and the x values, subtract them in the denominator. So we get the slope is equal to y2, which is 2, minus y sub 1, which is 2, divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1, 0. And in the numerator, you get 0 over 3, and that simplifies to just 0. You can also look at this in terms of the rise over the run. The rise going from one point to the next, there is no vertical change. So the numerator is the rise of 0. The run in this case, because of the two points we chose, is over 3 units to the right. So we have 3 in the denominator. But overall, it simplifies to 0. The slope of this line is 0. Another way to think of this is, as I mentioned in a previous video, is the HOY. Again, where H stands for horizontal, the H stands for horizontal line. The slope is 0, which you can see here, and the equation of the line y equals only has a y in it. So that's another way you can determine the slope of a line, is that if it only has a y in it, then the slope is equal to 0 and the graph is a horizontal line. Now let's look at this example. Find the slope of the line x equals 2. Well, this is a vertical line that goes right through 2 on the x-axis. So you can use the slope formula by finding 2 points. The 2 points you can select would be the point right here, which is the x-intercept, and any other point. It really doesn't matter which point you choose. So we can choose this point. The coordinates of those points are 2, 0, and the other point is 2, 5. Really, you can use any 2 points that are on that vertical line. By applying this slope formula, we get the y2 of 5 minus the y sub 1 of 0, and in the denominator, your x sub 2 is 2 minus your x sub 1 is 2. And here we get 5 over 0. In fact, anytime you have a number divided by 0, what we get is undefined. So the slope we consider is undefined because we can't divide by 0. If you try that in your calculator, it'll say either error domain or just error. So the way to remember the special lines, like horizontal, vertical line, this one only has an x in it. So think of VUX, where the V stands for vertical line, U means that it's an undefined slope, and then the X means the equation of the line only has an X in it. Now for this one, we want to find the slope of the graph. 5x minus 6y equals 18. It has both an x and a y, so it has an x-intercept and a y-intercept. So one way to do this is by finding 2 points that are on the line and then using the slope formula. In the next section, we're going to go over how you can rewrite the equation to find the slope. But for this section, we're going to find 2 points and apply the slope formula. So the 2 points that we're going to consider first are your x and y intercepts. So remember, the x-intercept is where you let y equal 0 and you solve for x. So take this equation where you see that y, you're going to put in the 0 and you get 5x minus 0, or just simply 5x, is equal to 18. And then divide both sides by 5 to get x equals 18 over 5. The To find the y-intercept, oops, actually let me back up just a little bit. This point we just found, x is equal to 18 over 5 when y is equal to 0. Those are the coordinates. So let's find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is found by setting x equal to 0 and then solving for y. So take this equation and replace the x with 0. You get 5 times 0 is 0, minus 6y equals 18. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 6 to get y equals negative 3. So this corresponds to the point when x is equal to 0, y is equal to negative 3. Now we can plug those values into the slope formula. The y2 minus y1, that's going to be your y2 minus your y1, and your x2 minus your x1 is going to be your x2 minus your x sub 1. We're going to get a fraction and a fraction, but we'll be able to simplify that. So our slope is equal to y2 minus y1, negative 3 minus 0, all divided by x2 minus x1, which would be 0 minus 18 over 5. When you simplify this, you get m is equal to a negative 3 in the numerator and a negative 18 over 5 in the denominator. Now, when you're dividing by a fraction, that's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to write this as negative 3 times the reciprocal of negative 18 over 5, which is 5 over negative 18. Now, this can be simplified. The negative 3 goes into the negative 18, and we can simplify this as 5 over 6. Or you can multiply the numerators, get negative 15 over negative 18, but then that will simplify to 5 over 6, and that would be your slope of the graph 5x minus 6y equals 18. In our next example, we want to use a slope and a point to graph a line. Graph the line with slope of negative 2/3 that goes through the point negative 5, 5. Now remember that slope is equal to the rise over the run, also a formula, but we can use the concepts of rise and run to find another point that's on the line. In this case, the slope is equal to negative 2 over 3. So that means our rise is negative 2. So from the point given, negative 5, 5, I'm going to rise. Instead of going up, I'm going to go down 2 units. Now the run part of the slope is positive 3. So from this point, I'm going to move in the direction 3 units to the right. So my new point is right here. And then I can graph a line through those 2 points. And that's going to look something like that. And when you're graphing a line, you want both sides of the line to have arrows indicating that the line goes forever in both directions. Now this slide shows the different types of slope, the orientation of a line in a plane. A positive slope indicates that the line goes up or rises from left to right. A negative slope indicates a line goes down. or falls from left to right. And also what we have on this slide here, again, the positive slope. If you go from left to right, you go up the page. So that is a positive slope. The negative slope from left to right goes down the page. And then the other two lines that are displayed here represents those two special lines. We have vertical and horizontal. Remember the horizontal, that's HOY for horizontal, zero slope, slope is zero, and the equation line only has a y in it. And then for the vertical line, we have, that's the VUX part, VUX, V standing for vertical, undefined slope, and the equation line only has an X in it.